Hey, welcome back to Scarborough Country. Glad you could be with us tonight. Now, this summer's film, Too Fast, Too Furious, glorifies high-speed streetcar racing in big cities. But these races and these chases have turned a Hollywood fantasy into a safety epidemic across America. And many of the teens who are racing in the streets are also racing toward an early death, or they're killing innocent bystanders. Last March, in April, in Atlanta, Georgia, 16-year-old Wendy Jennings totaled her car during a street race. She killed her friend and a grandmother in an oncoming car. But prosecutors just aren't holding the girl accountable. They're also busting the girl's parents, claiming they knew the car was unsafe and their daughter was a dangerous driver. With me now from Gwinnett, Georgia, we've got District Attorney Danny Porter and also Defense Attorney William Head. He's senior partner in the law firm of Head, Thomas, Webb, and Willis. And let's start with you, Danny. Why did you file charges against the parents in this case where this 16-year-old girl killed the grandmother?
Well, it seemed to be kind of a common sense application of Georgia law, because Georgia law provides that it's unlawful to allow someone to use or drive an unsafe vehicle. It's also against the law to allow someone to operate a vehicle in an unlawful manner. Our investigation revealed that the parents were on notice about the condition of the car, and in fact, the boy who was killed, his mother had notified Wendy's father about the condition of the car. And also our investigation revealed that there had been complaints from the neighbors about her driving in the neighborhood, and so it seemed to me to be a pretty common sense application of Georgia law.
But you know, Danny, a couple of things. First of all, the mother of the young man who tragically died in the accident allowed her son to get into her car. Also, this girl was drag racing, and she also had drugs in her system. I mean, her parents certainly didn't know she was going out to drag race and didn't know she was going out with drugs in her system, did they?
Well, I can't say that specifically, but I can say that they were on notice that she was speeding through her neighborhood, that she didn't have good driving habits, and I think it's reasonable to believe that on the day she went out that day, she wasn't going to have good driving habits. So,
hey, William Head. I'm sorry. Finish up. I'm sorry.
I think it's just a situation again where the particular facts of this case. Now, I'm not saying we should always hold parents responsible for their kids driving, but I think the particular facts of this case fit the statute.
You know, William Head, a lot of parents out there with teenage boys especially got to be kind of nervous if they could be charged for the way that their sons or daughters drive their cars. Do you think this is such a dangerous precedent to actually go after parents for what their child did behind the wheel of a car?
I think it's a very dangerous precedent because, just as you said, when I was 16, I wouldn't want my parents to know what I was doing in the car. I think it tends to be more male drivers than female. But in this particular case, the speeds they were attaining were over 90 miles an hour, as I understand it. And in a curve, a 97 model car, you could have the best tires in the world on it and still not be able to maintain the curve.
Well, exactly.
It's a situation where...
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, you're right. We keep hearing about these tires were bald, but the girl was going 90 miles an hour. She had drugs in her system, and the parent who wants the charges to be filed against Wendy's parents allowed their son to get into her car. I mean, doesn't that mitigate circumstances for Wendy's parents?
Well, the whole thing to me is, at what point do you draw the line for liability? And a situation like this, you're going to have parents out in their yard with a Lincoln head penny trying to figure out how much tread depth's on the tires. I just don't think it's a practical way to apply this case. Now, I realize this may be egregious circumstances, but it still doesn't mean we should expand the law in that direction, because it goes against all of our concepts of responsibility and liability to make the parents who are sitting at home in bed reading a newspaper suddenly become liable for what this girl's doing at 90 miles an hour in her car.
Danny Porter, I want to go back to you and let's draw this back a little bit. Of course, this is an egregious case. At the same time, I'm sure the parents didn't know their daughter had pot in her system, didn't know she was going to go 90 miles an hour. But bring it back for us.
I don't know that.
You think these parents? Do you think these parents knew that she had marijuana in her system and knew she was going to go out drag racing?
I don't know that, but that's not part of my case. The other thing is I want you to understand that the Miller family didn't make the prosecution decision in this case. I did.
Right, but the Miller,
of it is.
But certainly, if you have the Miller family saying we've lost our teenage son tragically,
they're not saying that.
Well, but they're supporting these charges, though, right? Don't they want Wendy's parents to be charged in this case?
They were as surprised by the charges as anyone else was. I made that decision independently, without consulting with the Millers. Based
all right. Well, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution article I read said they supported it. Well, tell me this: where does it end? If parents can be charged in this type of case, what if my son 2 years from now, and he better not, or I'll kill him myself, gets a six-pack of beer and wraps his car around somebody's fence? Am I liable for something like that?
Well, it depends. I mean, I think we're going to have to look at each case on a case-by-case basis. If your son, prior to buying the six-pack and wrapping it around a fence, had bought a six-pack and driven and you knew it, then maybe you do have consequences that are involved in that. I think this is all about, are we going to make decisions about putting our kids out in safe cars, and are we going to take control over their driving if we learn that they're driving improperly?
Can you name another case in Georgia or anywhere across America where a parent was held liable because their child was driving in an unsafe car?
I don't know of any. I know here in Gwinnett County, we've had cases where a parent who provided alcohol at an underage beer party was held criminally liable where there was a subsequent accident. There's also been a case in Gwinnett County where a 33-year-old man provided keys to a juvenile to go buy beer, and the juvenile was intoxicated and killed somebody.
All right. Well, thank you, Danny Porter. Yeah, they are different cases, and unfortunately we're out of time, but we'll invite you guys back as this case moves forward. I think they are totally different cases. It's illegal to give a minor beer. It's not illegal to give them car keys, even though I think it should be for some.